This CU podcast segment is sponsored by Into the AM. They have premium, high-quality apparel, including nice graphic tees, basic tees, hoodies, and even boxer briefs. Ian's wearing the nice anime-style stare-down. I got the Moon Buggy space-themed t-shirt on. Behind us, the Grand Terrain, and my personal favorite, the Lost Signal, with a CRT TV and VHS tapes and a VCR.
Look at them trippy colors. Into the AM offers different collections and themes. They've got space, animal, nature, festival themes. You can get stuff with skulls. The shirts are ultra soft, pre-shrunk, tailored fit, and use eco-friendly inks and dyes.
Into the AM is running a bundle deal for the graphic tees, which are 3 for $60. They also have basic tees for a great discount as well. Click the link in the description on YouTube, or if you're a podcast listener, use code CONTRI, C-O-N-T-R-I, and you'll get 10% off these very comfortable shirts and gear. Go look good and feel good with Into the AM. Ian, GameStop just had their third quarter revenue call.
They did.
And
didn't go well, did it?
No, I mean, you didn't expect it to go super, super well, but
no,
it didn't go well. So the big takeaway, there's a couple of big takeaways, and we're getting this from a CNBC article. They reported a decline in fiscal third quarter sales. They said inventory was slightly down from the same period last year. And they're working, the brick and mortar retailer has been working to strengthen its place in the digital world.
It's one of the stupidest sentences I've ever read.
Ever?
I mean, the brick and mortar retailer has been...
It's just, yeah,
it's dumb. It's fucking dumb. Yeah.
Sales were roughly $1.2 billion, down from $1.3 billion in the same period last year. Remember, that's not profit. That's just revenue coming in. That's not so. The next part of this, though, is what's alarming. The company's cash and cash equivalents fell to $800 million from $1.4 billion a year earlier. It burned through $600 million in cash in 1 year.
Jesus Christ.
Now, for a company that's doing well and being profitable, that's not going to be a big deal. Maybe you're reinvesting some of that cash. Maybe you're looking into other investments and other business ventures. But we know, first of all, a lot of that money was them selling off their own stock from the meme stock madness that pushed their stock up to, $300. They did stock, so that's where the money came from. A lot of that. But we know they invested a chunk into NFTs and crypto shit.
Yep.
Over the past couple of years.
They were, and when we talked about it, they were kind of like the best example of, or one of the best examples of getting into NFTs when they were hot.
Like a year and a half ago?
Yeah. And being like, we're going to do stuff. And then they did not get it out fast enough. And by the time it was released, NFTs were already, a laughing stock. I mean, they're up there. The only company I can think of that was more late to the party and more hilarious about it was Starbucks.
So I have their press release when they were partnering with Immutable X. When the fuck was this? This was last year. They were investing at the time up to $100 million fund in Immutable X's IMX tokens, which the parties intend to use for grants to fund NFTs. And then, so that's $100 million that could have been blown. I'm not saying they blew all of it, but they threw some money to that.
Right
there. I always knew $100 million was a mark in my mind about that. That was a thing in my mind. So they put $100 million into this fucking fund that who knows what payout they got from that. And then terms provided for Immutable X providing up to approximately $150 million in IMX tokens to GameStop upon the achievement of certain milestones. So they would pay it back with interest, it sounds like. So they invested in that, but then, Ian, they invested in their shitty fucking NFT marketplace.
Yep.
And we don't know how much they blew on that. I'm not looking on their financials. It wasn't a small amount to hire all the engineers, all the programmers, to get sponsorships going. They blew through a ton of money on absolute air, nothing.
Yes. And it's funny how they tried to play this too. So basically, in this article from CNBC, GameStop said last month that it had ended its partnership with FTX after the crypto exchange filed for bankruptcy. Just months earlier, GameStop had announced the partnership with the aim of introducing its customers to the crypto world and marketplace, and it also started carrying FTX gift cards in some of its stores.
Jesus.
At the end, Furlong said Wednesday the company was fortunate its exposure to digital assets has been very modest. FTX's bankruptcy filing has sent ripples.
So they were
making your own, huh?
So they were investing in an FTX marketplace shit.
Well, from what maybe FTX was behind their crypto marketplace. All I'm saying is it's absolutely ridiculous for you to say that your exposure was very limited when you made your own fucking marketplace for this shit.
They formed the marketplace. GameStop forms partnership with FTX in September 7th. There was the announcement. So what great timing.
So is their crypto shit done now?
The marketplace is basically wiped off the planet. It's gone.
Okay.
They arrested the guy.
Yeah.
They arrested the guy.
No, I mean like the GameStop one.
Oh, I don't know about that. I can look into it right now. But I'm telling you, FTX is done.
No, I know that. They arrested
Sam Bankman-Fried, whatever his name is.
Sam Bankman-Fried, like 2 days ago.
Yeah, in the Bahamas.
Yep.
So GameStop will begin carrying FTX gift cards in select stores. That was a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Did I read something about them reimbursing for FTX gift cards? I might have read something about that. Maybe they didn't sell a lot of them. Maybe that's the one good thing they might have done about this. But the point is this. GameStop doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. They can't read any tea leaves with any of this. And obviously, with the Chewy guy coming and trying to influence, it's been a disaster.
Yeah.
Because we thought, well, they're going to get it. We dumbly thought, well, maybe they'll do something on the blockchain with digital games sales to buy and sell. Maybe we thought that could be a useful case study. We thought
which is unnecessary, but like it was the only thing that seemed even remotely interesting to me.
It would make sense with their business plan, at least.
Yes,
because that's how GameStop profit comes from the used games. That's where they would fleece your customers. That's all. Hey, I'll give you $1.50 for this game. We'll sell it for $15. It's a meme, but that's partially what happens with this stuff. That's the profit margin, more so than the new game stuff. I was talking about the new games. Bring you a little amount, but not enough to keep the lights on overall, right?
Yes.
What does GameStop you think making on a $60 game new? What's their actual profit on that? Your best guess. $10?
I'm gonna guess they probably make $10 to $12,
something like that.
Yeah, we used to pay a little bit more, and honestly, for us, depending on the game, a new game might net us like $5 to $10. So they probably make a little bit more because they're buying in higher quantity. So maybe, but not a whole lot more.
They're making their money on the accessories, probably.
Oh, accessories and used games. It was always used games.
So, yeah. So their cash they're bleeding through cash. This article says GameStop has been working to become profitable and revamp its brick and mortar retail businesses, and after what executives have said were years of underinvestment. In recent months, the retailer has changed its leadership and focused on initiatives to further entrench it in the digital world. Yeah, so their net loss was $95 million, so they lost about $100 million. A slight improvement from about a loss of about $105 million in the same period last year. So they're still not making money selling shit. That's the bottom line. They're still not making money.
Nope.
And that's after closing a bunch of stores. That's lost in this. It's like you think, in theory, you close a bunch of stores out, so that's less salaries and less leases on the books, less locations to keep track of. They're still losing about the same amount of money after closing all these locations we talked about even before the pandemic and into the pandemic. It's not good. It's not good.
No,
they couldn't even get to a break-even point there.
And to fill this out a little bit with a little bit more crypto news. Because that's obviously going so great for everyone.
I can talk about the marketplace more, the NFT marketplace.
Oh, sure, go for it.
So because we saw about how they said that they're basically backing out of it.
Yes. Slowly backing out and pretending like a lot of places have done that. Because Ubisoft did the same thing, being like,
we never did anything.
We just dabbled in it. No, you fucking set it up for
yeah.
You're embarrassed. Sit with it. You should be embarrassed.
But where was there was a comment about them abandoning it entirely. GameStop NFT. Did I see that on the timeline? Was that someone talking on the timeline? But they're basically getting out of it. They're not going to be investing in it that much going forward. That's what I saw.
Sure.
They realized it was a massive mistake. Let me see if GameStop NFT marketplace. Let's just see what the sales are like. What are they doing? NFT.gamestop.com. Explore collections. Oh, not a cat. All right. What's on here? The floor price is 0.5. Was that Ethereum? Probably.
Yeah.
No one's buying this shit.
No
one's buying the certainly not a cat holding a cigar. Good art, but doesn't need to be an NFT for $680, $660. It's not a thing. It's fucking done. It's fucking done. The NFT stuff is done. And with that said, Ian.
Yeah, the only ones that are still... Sorry, give me a second. I'm trying to see what the Bored Ape Yacht Club ones are actually doing. Let me see real quick. 66.77 Ethereum. These are still going for something. Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
The blue chippers?
The blue chippers, yeah. The market floor for it is 1,300.
So that's come down.
That's come down. Yep. And those are like the NFTs, the Bored Ape ones.
Those used to be several thousand probably, right? For a floor.
Well, I mean, if that's the floor, yeah. I mean, they used to be several thousand at the floor, but I mean, I'm pretty sure it was like 10,000 for the floor, like 6 months ago.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. So these are definitely not doing well.
And why, Ian, are the Bored Ape ones perhaps the most famous NFTs?
Because they. Well, they pushed themselves heavily into the pop culture mainstream
through celebrity endorsements.
Celebrity endorsements like Jimmy Fallon, whose face I can't fucking stand. Gwyneth Paltrow, who I cannot stand.
I did not know.
Justin Bieber, Steph Curry.
Disappointing.
Madonna, Kevin Hart, Snoop Dogg, Serena Williams, Post Malone, The Weeknd. All sorts of these places that were pushing the Bored Ape NFTs are now being sued. This is from the Hollywood Reporter. Celebrity promoters sued over Bored Ape NFT endorsements. The suit accuses the creators of Bored Ape Yacht Club NFTs of enlisting leaders to mislead their followers into buying bad investments at inflated prices. And basically they're saying that there are undisclosed payments to some of these celebrities. And yeah, it looks like hot shit.
Here's the thing. When I saw this happen on Jimmy Fallon's show, whatever that was, like
I missed it, but I mean, everyone said it was awful.
It was like late spring of last year, summer. I think it was him talking to Paris Hilton. And when it happened, I was like, well, this is interesting because this is like an infomercial to me. You can go on YouTube and look at the clip.
Right.
You can replay it. And they're going over their own Bored Apes. Jimmy Fallon's like, hey, this is mine. It has glasses. I wear glasses like this, and it has a captain's hat. And Paris Hilton's like, oh, that captain hat's so cute, and they had them framed next to each other on his desk, and they're talking about this like it's so natural.
Right. That's what everyone says, that like they tried to make it seem really natural, and it was fucking dumb.
So, I'm not saying they were paid. A lawsuit might figure this out when they get deposed.
Oh, a lawsuit will figure this out.
But you put a gun to my head, there was shenanigans going on with that.
Yeah.
Because it was out of place. The audience is confused, doesn't know what the fuck's going on. When you listen, the audience are like clapping, but it's like politely like, oh yeah, you have ugly ape art.
Yeah, they're just they're in the audience. They're clapping because they're in the audience.
And like Paris Hilton can't even fake how stupid it is. Yeah, I love our apes. They even say like, oh, we're like in the community, just something like that, and it's like
the community. What community?
I guess we're in the Into the AM t-shirt community. Well, we're in the same. We're wearing the same.
So is this like partnerships and yeah?
They're partnering. So here's the point: if Paris Hilton and Jimmy Fallon were either given those NFTs for free and were paid to talk about it, and it was not disclosed on that show, the relationship, they're in trouble.
Yes.
The FTC is coming after their asses.
Big trouble.
I didn't see what Steph Curry did. I know he had an avatar.
He was real deep into it for a while.
I really hope my little Steph Curry was not.
He's a grown man.
He's little to me. He's only 6'2" compared to the monsters. I really wish that I hope he would not have been dumb enough to be given compensation or free NFTs and then promoted it without disclosing. Because that's cut and dry. You can't do that shit. You can't do it. You can't. Now, suing him for being in a commercial about FTX, that's not going to go anywhere. Like, that's totally different.
Sure.
You can't be sued for being a commercial for a product that ends up being a fucking scam.
You've been paid. You've been paid. And
you have no knowledge of what's going on behind the scenes. Right. But if you are given a product with a huge audience, with millions, tens of millions of followers, and you're not disclosing it and people get in, that's not good for any of these celebrities and sports people. That's just bad.
Yeah.
But that shows you what it took to get it out there. And it's a fucking plan. It's a grift. It's a Ponzi and it's a grift. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
We'll pay people. Look how kudos hey, your favorite celebrity has this. Why don't you get one, Ian?
What's crazy
Get in early. Get in early. It's disgusting. It's all disgusting, but we all knew it was coming. Again, it's about telling people on the train tracks the train is coming and them saying you're fucking crazy. And it's like you're going to get hit.
What's funny is when this shit falls apart and these people start opening their mouths like SBF did, their solution for a lot of this stuff is straight up Ponzi scheme stuff. Well, we're going to get some fresh investors and then we're going to pay you back. No, that's what makes it a Ponzi scheme. Taking money from new people to pay back old investors. I mean, it's one of the things that makes
you're
it
trying
a Ponzi
to shore
scheme.
up in order to pay back to get it back on its feet. I mean, that's what basically bankruptcy is.
Sure.
You're trying to get fresh money to shore it up. That's what a good old Mr. Wonderful Kevin O'Leary, who was also potentially, allegedly, I think he was paid to endorse FTX. That's a whole other conversation.
Who?
Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank. We talked about him a week or two ago.
Yeah, I know who he is.
He tried to get a team of investors to shore up the funding for FTX to get it back on its feet recently, but that fell through once the investors probably said, this is horseshit, this whole business. So the point is this. It's so, as I've gotten into my mid 30s to late 30s, any sort of trust I had, I don't know how bad it's going to sound, any sort of trust I had in any sort of higher authority in terms of knowing better, in terms of any either financial businesses or government, it's been shot to hell. That there's anyone that knows better than the common person with any of this, or has any better judgment or any better ethics. It doesn't exist. It fucking doesn't exist for a lot of this stuff. It doesn't.
No.
It's time after time. The housing crash in the late 2000s, the dot-com crash around 2000, you want to say the crypto crash of 2020, it constantly keeps fucking happening.
People want to believe that this time is going to be different, or this time I'm going to be the one that comes out on top and not the other person. And it's just, yeah.
It's just human greed trying to push and pull things to happen behind the scenes. And it's gotten more blatantly obvious, obviously, with social media. You want to call it independent journalists and things happening where it's like, you can't hide this shit anymore. You can't. Like if Twitter was around and social media for all the housing crash stuff, I think it would have gone a little differently.
Sure.
In the mid 2000s when they were giving out loans to people that couldn't afford them and then flipping things and things like that. And
it's like I said earlier, not to bring up Tommy, but we are in an age of so much information being at our fingertips that deceit is should be getting much harder. There's going to be a time in the next 50 years where it's going to be a lot harder for someone to pull off something like this.
You hope, but
I hope. I'm being optimistic.
This SBF guy just had his own personal fucking slush fund off of investors and the people's money people put in their money to buy crypto and say, no, I'm going to use that money to buy a fucking apartment somewhere or to buy a fucking yacht. And it's like, this shouldn't still be happening. This shouldn't be happening.
Right.
There's no oversight. There's no adults. That's the signal they'll say. There are no adults in the room anymore. We thought there were at some point, and maybe there was for a time, but it just seems at this point it's blatantly obvious there are no more adults in the room in any almost vestige of power or business or finance. There's no one manning the shop.
Well, as you get older too, I think it certainly happened to me. As you get older, you realize that the adults don't know any fucking thing.
Oh, no,
anyways.
I realized that, but at least I thought that the people in power were responsible and were thinking outside of themselves.
We're full of people who have faked it and failing upwards. We are our government, our financial institutions, they're all filled with people who failed upwards.
Real quick, metaverse funding is obviously it's still going on, but I think it's been less. I got to find something about that. Them trying to raise money for the metaverse, which is obviously connected to some of this shit by and large. But I don't know. I don't know. We started with GameStop. I'm just cynical about everything, about about people grifting for NFTs, and they knew they know what they're doing. They know that it's all about volume. Volume is what raises the price of crypto NFTs. That's it. The more sellers, the higher it goes up. The less sellers, more buyers, the price goes up. More sellers, price goes down. That's the only thing that is with these digital goods. There's no usefulness to this. If there's no usefulness, there's no intrinsic value. The price can't naturally go up and down anymore. It can't. And by the way, these things can disappear. I always forget about that. These things can disappear.
Oh yeah, yep. There was already something happened earlier in the year where like FTX stuff happened, and then like the NFTs for Coachella disappeared.
I was going to bring it up. I think I brought it up with Alex when you weren't here. Like, I think it was maybe with you. There was like $600 or $6,000.
You and me
tickets.
talked about it, but I don't know that we ever brought it up on the podcast.
Yeah, like there was a whole NFT system for Coachella, which is a big event where like, oh, here's the VIP ticket. You spend tens of thousands of dollars, and it's a lifetime pass. Guess what? That doesn't exist anymore. It's off the blockchain. It's fucking gone. Your money's gone. There's no way to prove that you ever even bought it.
Yeah.
It's a fucking grift. Don't let anyone tell you anything different. These fucking Bitcoin and crypto influencers that I have to fucking hear about on my timeline, and there's no such thing as a crypto influencer.
No.
They're just trying to get your money.
Yes.
They want you into the ecosystem. That's it.
They don't have any special tips for how you can fucking make it. They just want your money. They want you to look at them. It's crazy that the industry overnight, that's how you know it's so fake. It happens so fast. Overnight, you've got experts on YouTube telling you how to invest in NFTs.
In crypto.
Hey,
this coin's going to be a great coin. Why? Because, this is going to be a good coin.
What makes one coin better than the other?
Because they
popularity. Exactly. Because they pumped it up.
Or they were given some for free to pump it up, or money to endorse it without disclosing. That's a whole other issue.
Yep.
I'm fucking sick. It's Christmas and I'm sick. Where's my Christmas hat?